love Star Trek.
There's the thing of time machines and there keeps being very cool finds and it keeps getting more of the time of Saturn's and Pontiac.
Did you ask a question?
Our time there keeps being more, maybe.
You're talking about cars again.
We're talking about cars. I love cars too.
I know we love cars too.
Christopher, we had this conversation yesterday. What kind of car do I drive?
Lexus.
That's it, baby.
My question is, given how committed you are to literacy and education, have you ever considered running for public office? And if so, would you use the campaign slogan, "You don't have to take my word for it"?
When I left the Catholic Seminary in 1974 and moved to Los Angeles to study theater at USC, my minor was political science. I grew up in Sacramento, capital of California, in a highly politically active and aware family. And at one point in my life, I did consider public office as a way to serve. My mom's second career was as a social worker, so I grew up really with the primary example that one's life should be about service, no matter what it is you do. However, the older I got, the more disillusioning the game of politics became to me, and I currently believe that I can be much more effective doing what it is I do rather than trying to run for any sort of office. Well, thank you. I'm not going to ask you to.
Hi, my name's Kayla, and I loved reading Rainbow growing up, and I think if I could have lunch with any celebrity alive or dead, I would want to have lunch with you. You're just so intellectual, and we'd have a fascinating conversation. But my question is concerning the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films. What is your opinion on how they've done anything, and would you potentially like a part in it? Be totally candid. We can take it.
Thanks, Kayla, and let's have lunch. You know, I like the films. I do. I'd love to be able to say I love the films. I think they're terrific. They're great action pictures. But I miss Gene's vision. It's just... Star Trek has always been about something. And I would love for this new incarnation, I would love for these new movies to follow in that tradition. I have asked him whenever I see him, I ask him, when are you going to talk about something that's important? And he never answers. So maybe this next one that Robert Orci is directing will return to, will come back home. I would love for, you know, I love the characters, and I care about what happens to them. I just want to see them engaged in some story that inspires me or causes me to think and feel. Let's move on.
Hello, my name is Will, and you had just to get us out of the way, you had a huge impact on me as a child, just through shows like Reading Rainbow and The Next Generation. That seems throughout your career, you've chosen shows that manage to appeal not just to the whole range of family, and that's a very difficult thing for entertainment to do, but also to encourage children, to take an interest in the sciences and to explore and develop their curiosity. And you're even doing that now with not just the new Reading Rainbow, but even the new Transformers Rescue Bot show is surprisingly very smart for a Transformers cartoon. And so I'm asking you, as an authority on the subject and as an aspiring writer myself who's somewhat inspired by your long career, I was wondering, what qualities do you think the kids gravitate towards that you can use to entertain them and at the same time teach them something without them realizing they're being taught, or whatever? What does it take to reach kids is what I'm asking.
I think everything begins with intent and intentionality. At Reading Rainbow, we are aware of the fact that we are attempting to use the medium for more than just entertainment. I mean, entertaining is a part of the mission, always. But to enlighten and inspire and inform when you can, and educate, this is what I strive to do. It's interesting. I really don't feel like I've chosen these things in my life. I'm not the kind of guy who gets to do whatever he wants. I feel like I've taken what's come my way and done the best I could with it. And not everything. I mean, look, you in order to have a long career, you're going to have. I did a zombie movie for the Sci-Fi Channel a couple of years ago. Clearly, you haven't seen my Fantasy Island episode or my episode of the Love Boat. They can't all be gems, You're going to kiss a few frogs along the way.
Hi, my name is Emily, and I just want to say, first of all, you and Brent Spinner were my idols growing up.
Spiner.
Yeah. But I had crushes on both of you. My question, though, is about Roots. Was it personally emotional for you to play the young Kunta Kinte in that?
Very. Absolutely, and I felt like I've been preparing for that role my entire life. I had an interesting conversation. There was one gentleman, like the last person in my line before lunch this afternoon. There you are. He asked me about the whipping scene in Roots when Kunta is forced to accept the name Toby. And he had read somewhere or heard that it was a difficult scene for me to shoot, and in fact it was. And he noted that there was never a shot in that sequence that included both the character of Kunta and the man who was whipping him. And I shared with him that we had to shoot that scene twice, because the first time we attempted to shoot it, I was just too afraid. I found it very difficult to stand on an apple box with my back to this man and have him hurl that whip in my direction. And so I was just too nervous. I was jumping way before the whip was landing. And so we had to blow it off for that day and bring this guy back on another day. And I spent the morning with him, a couple of hours, and just hung out with him while he showed me just how proficient he was with that thing. And when the whip is released, I think he said the tip is moving at 140 miles an hour. And that's a lot of force, and obviously a lot of sting in the hands of somebody who intends to do harm. And as it turns out, just getting to know him and seeing how good he was with the whip, that he could really do anything he wanted with it, gave me the confidence, to try it again. But yes, it was very personal on not just a physical level, but deeply emotional as well.
Okay, we've got time for just a few more. You good with that?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Hi, my name's Gary. My question is, it's two-part.
What is it with Pittsburgh and two-part questions?
Basically is, if they make another Next Generation movie, who do you want to direct it?
Me.
Next one.
Who would you want to not be in it?
Is that a trick question?
Maybe.
You mean in terms of the regular cast?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anyone to not be there.
Okay. I just heard you say about, about Jonathan Frakes, so.
Oh, well, don't get me wrong. I love Jonathan. He's my ally. He's a lot of work. Johnny's a bad boy, and I love him. It would not be the same if any of us were not there. It wouldn't be the same. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, first, before I ask my question, I want to know if you were possibly familiar with the Harry Potterverse. Joe, anywhere? You know, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. I've read the books.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
What house? I'm the Ravenclaw. What house do you think that you and Geordie would be sorted into?
Wow. You're a Ravenclaw, you say?
Yes.
Yeah. Proud Ravenclaw. Yeah. Yeah. I like Ravenclaw. Hufflepuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
You said...
Gina would be Slytherin, by the way. I'm just saying.
You said earlier how much the Reading Rainbow app has really, you feel it's taken off as a good thing. How do you personally feel about printed books versus electronic reading devices?
Yeah, I think they both have tremendous value. I love reading bound books. I do. I grew up in an era where that was all we had. I believe that sooner or later we will come to the conclusion that it is no longer sustainable to cut down trees to make books, and we will make fewer of them, which will make the books that we own more precious to us. I believe that we will always print some books that cannot be enjoyed necessarily to their fullest extent in the digital realm. However, I now carry a library around on my iPad, and that's amazing to me. Where kids are concerned, I don't care whether it's in a bound book or on a tablet device. I simply want kids to read. Amy.
Hi, I'm Emma.
Emma.
You were like my biggest hero growing up. I loved reading. I loved reading Rainbow. It was my favorite show. One of my favorite parts was the little field trips you took. What was your favorite or most interesting place?
Oh my
that you
gosh.
went?
So many, but a few stand out. Being at the summit of Kilauea, the volcano during an eruption was pretty cool. I learned to fly an airplane on Reading Rainbow and flew an airplane for the first time. I learned to dive for the episode Dive to the Coral Reefs. I've had so many wonderful experiences over the 31 years I've been the host of Reading Rainbow. And I really think it's the best job I've ever had. And I'm the chief engineer of the enterprise.
Time for one more question. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. You
Yes.
are the last question.
Yes, I'm very privileged to be the last, and thank you. My name is Angela, and I'm from Perryopolis. It's a very small town. Oh, thank you!
Perryopolis in the house.
Yeah, grew up, graduated from Fraser, class of 2000. Well,
Is that your mom?
No. I just want to thank you for being an incredible inspiration to, well, so many of us, but in particular for inspiring me to read. And I took my first trip as a child to a public library because of your show, Reading Rainbow, and I've been an avid reader ever since. And also, I really thank you for the role of Geordie LaPorte on Star Trek Next Gen because, well, as you can tell, I am partially blind.
I see your cane.
And it was really important to me as a child to know that someday that I could not be labeled as such.
Right.
And I just want to thank you for all of that.
Again, that's one of the things I love about Star Trek, in that it is a meritocracy. And that if you are the right person for the job, if you are the most qualified, that job is yours. Believe me, being for people who have physical challenges, what Nichelle Nichols was for me as a person of color means an awful lot. And I thank you, Angela, very much for being here and for being there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. LeVar Burton.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate you.
Up on your feet, you know it.
You're really nice. Thank you for your time, your energy and attention. I'll see you next time, but you don't have to take my word for it.
LeVar Burton, when he got to this table, it's like, keep it going, he's still here. There he goes.
Excellent. Come on, a little bit more. Not only that long.
Amazing job. Thank you so much. Good job, guys. You did a great job. Nicely done. The next Q&A